All right, hey guys, in this video, I'm going to show you how to underwrite a property using my cash flow model and what expenses to expect in Indianapolis, where I work as an agent and an investor. I am in a coffee shop, so if it's really loud, just try to get through that. So right here, I have this property, 1025 North Centennial Street, and actually it looks like it is a duplex, but it's 140,000, 3 bed, 2 bath. Used to be a duplex, now it's in a single unit. Anyways, we are looking at the near west side, which is definitely up and coming and early, but not too bad. You can get quality tenants, and I like Zenless because you can see the street view. And this is not too bad at all. We can totally work with this. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is go to tylerlingo.com, invest with Tyler, rental cash flow model. Open it up, and I always like to put in the change that. Okay, got the address in there so we know what it is. Purchase price. Now, of course, if you think you can get it less, you can change that. Closing costs, I like to go 1.5% of the property value. Realtor fee, if you're the buyer, you pay nothing. If you're a seller, you usually pay 6%. But rehab costs, I like to put 500 or something in there. You'll probably have some handyman costs or property management, blue tape costs, total investment. That's everything all in. Let's just say you're doing 20% like that. There's your down payment. There's how much you're financing. There's your initial cash investment. It'll cost you that much to get in. Annual interest rate. Right now, I'm advising people to do a 6% ARM interest rate in this current high interest rate climate. So you'll be paying $684 just for mortgage, principal, and interest. Now, rental income. How do you get rental income? Well, here's what I recommend. You copy and paste the address, and you get a subscription to Rentometer. Rentometer is going to be your best friend. It's what I use. It's what other property managers use. It's great. So let's go 3 bed, 2 bath on Rentometer. Make sure you're on 12 months back, 1 mile radius, or you can do smart, whatever works. But you want to make sure you're on house and duplex. Do not do apartment condo unless you are looking at an apartment condo. Excellent. And now, first of all, I want to make sure we have blue icons nearby. If we have this and then blue icons further out, that's a hard alert that maybe that's not the best. And you need to go into the pro report. This is where you're going to be able to look at the comps. So I like to copy paste. I'll go over to Zenlist. Should work with Zenlist, I think. I'll search the address. Okay, doesn't work with Zenlist. Good to know. But it should work with Redfin. Search the property, and boom, you can see what it looks like. And now this property is really nice finishes. It's looking pretty nice. LVP, the grays, the Pinterest level. And honestly, it's better than our property by quite a long shot unless we invested some serious money into it. Ours, we got some serious pastel colors. Need to paint that, update the bathrooms. Doesn't quite have that level. And so if I go back, I see, well, this was rented for $12.95. Strikes me as actually kind of not too high, but let's keep moving on and let's try out. This one's rented for $1,500 and just see, well, if that's $12.95, let's see this one. And this one is not looking too great. It's definitely that old Craftsman level. And this was rented for $1,500. Now it is pretty big. It is pretty big, right? At that much square feet total. And so we're just going to keep trying to figure this out. And I like to use the ones close by. So B right here, house B is close by. Let's go in. And, oh, we already looked at that one, it looks like. Well, let's A then. Are they the same? These are the exact same. That's lovely. What about this one? All right, this is kind of our speed. It's only 2 bed, 1 bath, and it's not too great. But maybe they updated it. We don't know for sure, but 1295. So it seems like 1295, 1300 is kind of a theme. I think it's safe to say if you did some very light cosmetic updating, you could get that up to maybe 1400 thereabouts. But what I like to say is we are usually between the median and the 75th percentile. Typically, people I'm working with are investing in these properties, making them look better, more attractive, and I find we're closer to this mark more often than not. You can also triangulate between a property manager, and that would really help. So we're going to go back and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in 1400. But keep in mind, I think we need to do some rehabbing. So we're going to bump that up to 2500, which could get us a little bit of paint, some light cosmetic. Might be a little more than that, but for the sake of this, let's just look at that. So we're shooting for 1400, especially if we're leasing out in the spring, which it's January right now, so that's feasible. Now, maintenance and repairs on income. Typically, if you want to be safe, you should be putting in 15% of your rent goes towards that. These are expenses. Property manager, unless you're self-managing, which you might want to do in this high interest rate climate if you want to cash flow. But if you want it to be hands off, put in 10%. That's what my two property managers I recommend do. Real estate taxes in Marion County are typically 2 to 2.5% of the assessed value. So we'll put in 2% to be safe. Insurance can be tricky. For smaller homes, you're going to be under 1,000. For larger homes, you'll be over 1,000. If you're above $350,000 of a home, you're typically above 2,000. You gotta have to flesh that out. I'm gonna go. I think this house, being pretty small, is probably a $600 per year. We're gonna divide that by 12, and it's 50. So I'll put in $50 a month. Going to insurance. Other expenses. We should have nothing. Monthly cash on cash. So as you can see, we have um, our invested equity and how much we're getting back. So $913. That is a 3.3% cash on cash return. Now, what you need to keep in mind is we're not counting appreciation or equity pay down or tax advantages like depreciation and other write offs. So keep in mind that your total ROI is probably above 12%, if not above 15%. But for purposes of cash on cash, straight up cash the first year, it is 3.3, which is not too great, but also in this high interest rate climate, expected. I don't think that's a terrible investment. You're still making money. You're still going to reap a lot of appreciation in the near west side. You're close to the IMS racetrack. You're close to 16 Tech campus. You're close to all the IU health build up. They're investing $4 billion over there. So I'd say it's not too bad. Now, if we look at ROI, including principal paydown, you will see that plus you'll see that your cash flow per month, including equity paydown, is like 348. If you factor that in, you have an ROI of 14.9%, which obviously is quite a bit better. So if you factor in the principal paydown and what you're paying back, that forced savings account of equity paydown doesn't look too bad. I like to do 10-year expected property value, factoring in 2% return or 2% appreciation, which is very conservative. Honestly, it would be much more like 3% in this fast moving area, which would be 1.25. Looks like I had, not sure what that, honestly, not sure about that one. You might need to tinker around with that, but 175,000 equity after 10 years, 61,000, and then cash out and rent gross after 10 years, 9,000. So this is a pretty good tool. I find it to be a good use. I usually am saying right now, if you are above, 3 to 5% in cash on cash return, that's a pretty good deal. And also, look, if you live in town and you can get the management down to zero, all of a sudden you're at 216 pure cash a month and 9.3. And so that's maybe an option that you can leverage. Maybe you can get the interest rate down, do an interest only loan. Giving you a lot of information here, but that's just something to think about. So all that to say, find the property on Zenlist using the searches I've created. Use Rentometer, pay for the $80 subscription. It's worth it. Check the comps on Redfin, plug it into the model, see what you get. Aim for 5% cash on cash return if possible. Expect that you're going to get 3 to 5% appreciation in Indianapolis. We are a very growing city. There is, what's the stat? In the past 4 years, there's been more capital invested in Indianapolis in the past 25 years combined. That stat, I think we can assuredly get 3% appreciation. So that's the steps. If you have any questions, you can comment, you can text me, you can email me. But hope you have an awesome day and good luck with your underwriting.